जय हिंद दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका फिर से आर्यम कैलाश एंटरटेनमेंट इस एजुकेशन प्लेटफॉर्म पर। दोस्तों, हाल ही में सोशल मीडिया पर 25 जून 1975 में तत्कालीन प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी जी द्वारा लगाए गए इमरजेंसी प्रावधान पर नेता पक्ष और विपक्ष के मध्य जुबानी हमला हो रहा है। हमारे पास इंदिरा गांधी जी का वो इंटरव्यू क्लिप है जो उन्होंने इमरजेंसी के फैसले और तानाशाही पर 1975 में दिया था। देखिए उनके इंटरव्यू के कुछ अहम अंश।
It's been said in the press again that if Nehru or Gandhi were alive now that they would be your opponents, that they would be in jail because of the extreme measures you're taking.
Now, I doubt whether there's for the West to try and teach me what Mr. Gandhi thought or my father thought. Isn't that very, very odd? I have not taken any powers whatsoever. We are functioning absolutely within the Constitution. All we have done is to detain a number of people and to ban two main groups, who were non-political groups, who believed in anarchy and violence.
But surely the cornerstone of democracy is that there can be legitimate opposition. You do not have an effective opposition. You do not have criticism within the press because of press censorship. And perhaps most disturbing to people I've talked to is that somebody can be put in jail and cannot get back to the courts as an age-old right of appeal. Now, certainly that is extra power.
Well, it is a little bit of extra power, but I already said in the beginning what situation was created here. Because the question is that whether it's a democracy or any other type of government, the first duty of any government is to preserve the country's unity and its integrity. And I think that that was being threatened.
Let's go back then to the question of the change in Constitution. For a moment, we'll assume your own morality is of the highest. If you're followed by somebody who's a real tyrant, does that not open the way to easily becoming a dictator?
So far as the president is concerned, he always has had this immunity. It's only been now extended to the vice president and the prime minister. And the intention was not at all to protect anybody who was guilty, but merely to safeguard them from harassment and the use of litigation for political ends or something like that. So far as being a dictator's misuse of the position would be that if there was a real dictator, surely he would do away with Parliament and everything anyway.
But if people are arrested and they don't have any right of habeas corpus, I mean, it's almost the same in effect.
Do you know what Lincoln said? He said, do you want the Union or habeas corpus at one point in American history? And there was a point, do you want India to continue as a united entity, or do you want anarchy? And if you had had the sort of anarchy which we thought would come about, there would be no question of democracy anyway. It certainly wasn't democracy when members of the legislatures were intimidated and forced to resign. That's no description of democracy. And this was the planned program of some of these opposition parties. They were going to do the same with Parliament.
You seem to have, in effect, at this point, eliminated those threats.
Not yet, no.
How do you feel personally about the fact that many people are afraid of you at this time, on a personal level?
Well, quite frankly, I don't think that brave people are afraid, except that who need to be afraid, as I said, the wrongdoers. I don't like people to be afraid of me or of anybody or anything.
If people are frightened of you, if you don't like people to be frightened of you, why not reinstate habeas corpus? Why not do it now, that people can have the right to courts, that they won't feel they'll disappear?
Look, nobody is disappearing.
You don't mind being criticized?
I don't mind being criticized, no.
And can I conclude from that press censorship essentially will be lifted?
Press censorship, I didn't censor the press because it's criticizing me, but it was lowering the morale and self-confidence of the Indian people.
It's been said in the press again that if Nehru or Gandhi were alive now that they would be your opponents, that they would be in jail because of the extreme measures you're taking.
Now, I doubt whether there's for the West to try and teach me what Mr. Gandhi thought or my father thought. Isn't that very, very odd?
Your job in the transformation of India, in the eradicating of poverty, is an enormous job. It must be very tempting to want to keep the kind of special situation you have now in the emergency to carry on your work more efficiently. Is that in fact a temptation for
Not
you?
at all, because I believe very firmly that it's not just the ideal of democracy, but as a practical proposition, I think it's the only system that can work in a country of India's size and diversity.
Why
Because
not?
we can only keep these divergent religions, language groups, and cultural groups together if they have a full feeling of participation and involvement.
Do you think the time might come when you feel the best thing for the country would be to step down?
Which certainly might come, I don't know. I certainly can't last forever.
इस इंटरव्यू को देखकर आपको समझ में आया होगा कि 1975 में इंदिरा गांधी जी ने जो आपातकाल प्रावधान लगाया था वो सही था या गलत। इस पर अपनी राय जरूर दें। ऐसे ही इंफॉर्मेटिव वीडियोस के लिए हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें। मिलते हैं जल्द नई वीडियो में। जय हिंद।